Pregame Central presented by USVI. Game day here at MetLife Stadium as the New York Jets are hosting the Miami Dolphins. And it's Quincy Williams dressing up as the Joker today. How do we feel about that, gentlemen? Little interesting. Are we intimidated?
Halloween all over again.
Yeah, a little bit.
It completely threw me off.
I think he's channeling the Gotham City vibe.
Oh, very good.
Representing
nice
the rivalries uniforms that the Jets will be wearing today. Welcome in, everybody. I'm Caroline Hendershot, your host, alongside Eric Allen, Quincy Enunwa, and our guest, Vinny Testaverde. You're bringing the sunshine from the Sunshine State with you today.
Yeah, we have great weather down in Florida, 80 degrees. But I'll tell you what, there's nothing like a great day of football weather.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Yeah, you know, it's like chilly, but it's not so unbearably cold yet in December, so I'll take it because at least it's not snowing.
Yes.
All right, before we get into this AFC East matchup, we got to talk about the rivalries uniforms. What do you guys think of them? Do you like them?
I'm excited because I get to wear it today. So that, for me, it doesn't matter how it looks. I'm just excited they gave it to us to wear on the field today.
Well, what I want to see today is you guys out there in the rivalry uniform and Vinny Testaverde throwing to Quincy Enunwa down the field.
Ooh, I like that. Maybe we can hand you a football right before you go on field.
Yeah, as long as you don't go deeper than 10 yards.
Listen, I won't be able to run that far, so don't worry about it.
I got my sweatshirt on.
There you go. There you go. Okay, so let's get into this matchup because it's almost a rematch because the last time the Jets saw the Dolphins, that was week 4. They lost to the Dolphins 27-21 on Monday Night Football. So what is, EA, in your opinion, the biggest difference from this Jets offense from week 4 to now?
Well, you have a new quarterback in place in Tyrod Taylor, and the Jets overall are just finding a way to win. And then you mentioned specifically offensively. I like that continuity you're getting up front along the offensive line. Breece Hall has been a staple, a focal point of your offense. But how about the additions of John Mechie? And we saw Adonai Mitchell go off last week for his first 100-yard game. So you don't have Garrett Wilson in the lineup today against the Dolphins. He's still on IR. But you have a new quarterback, and you have a couple of receivers who are continuing to ascend, and let's see what they can do down the stretch, because I can't wait, Vinny, to watch all these guys in action.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm looking forward to today's game as well. I think with Tyrod in there, he's really running a smooth operation from the quarterback perspective, and I think the guys understand and like the smoothness of how the operation is being run from play to play. I think that's important to get in rhythm and making sure that guys are having success out there on the field.
What does someone like Tyrod Taylor, who's such an experienced veteran in so many different offenses on so many different teams, bring to a huddle, Vinny?
Yeah, I think he brings calmness and confidence. A guy who has seen it all, and nothing's going to fool him. He understands where to go with the football. He understands protections, where the free man is coming from, the hot routes, things like that. So when your players are looking at the quarterback, they want to make sure and understand that he knows what he's doing and he's capable, and he is certainly capable of doing that.
Yeah, well, so last time you were here, I asked you a question for my Madden game, right? But I think now this will be more of a technical question, right? So I know you were studying a little bit with Gruden, right? And so when you watch this Miami defense, right, one thing that I saw was like they really get into some crazy defenses where they'll take the post safety, bring them down into the middle read, and they'll play cover 2 invert, right? So like as a veteran quarterback, right, how do you kind of make your reads when there's so much going on back there? Like, do you just look for spaces, or you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. So in preparation during the week, you're understanding what they might unfold, the defense might unfold
of
to,
course.
right? They're going to show you one look, go to another look, and when that happens, you have to instantly know, okay, I'm going to eliminate this from my progression, go to that, right? And a veteran quarterback like Tyrod, I think he'll do it quickly and be successful with it.
Makes sense.
I love when you kind of break this down for me because I feel like I'm learning something new from every single week. What do you see with the kind of the upward tick with Tyrod Taylor and his new receivers, especially Adonai Mitchell, John Mechie, those guys who are really stepping up in lieu of Garrett Wilson being out?
I mean, they have different skill sets from what the Jets already have, right? And I think this is kind of what Tanner Armstrong was looking for when he started this offensive scheme, right, with the Jets, is that he wanted guys that can get down the field, but also guys that could get open in the small space. faces. And so it's imperative for you to have those guys. And previously, those guys that we had weren't making those type of plays. So it's cool to see Adonai Mitchell, because when I watched this film, I was like, oh, yeah, this guy can get open. And we saw that in the first game. Unfortunately, he was dropping it. But as a receiver, I'm going to tell you, there's a lot of jitters that go into it, right? Sometimes your hands don't work with your brain, and you're out there trying to make these catches, and it just doesn't happen. But you saw that next game, man. He picked it back up. He was making the catches that need to be made. And I think this week he's going to have so much more confidence.
Yeah, Quincy always talks about the advantage of playing with a veteran quarterback. Yeah. And, Vinny, what do you make of Tyrod going to these guys who came over in trades and really spending extra time with them so they're familiar with the offense?
Yeah, well, I'm sure he's been through it as a quarterback himself, going into his first games, whenever that was, a while back ago, as I did, and we all have done at some point, right, Quince? You're a little nervous, and sometimes things don't quite work out early on. But having a veteran quarterback that understands that he's going to continue to work with these guys, give him second and third opportunities, and hopefully it works out. And if it doesn't, then you know what happens. Somebody else comes in and takes his spot.
That's a good point, because I know with the young quarterbacks, listen, with the young quarterbacks, sometimes there's a little bit of a confidence thing, right? And so if they go to somebody, they don't catch the ball, they might not want to go back there. With an older quarterback, there's a little more confidence, right? Like, they're giving you like I'll talk about with Fitz, right? Like, sometimes I would miss a lot of passes. I was young. I was dropping some passes. But Fitz would come to me and be like, hey, listen, I'm coming back to you, right? That's that confidence that he knows in his skill set that he can carry on to the other guys.
And as a receiver, when you hear that from a quarterback, how much does that affect how you're playing?
It's huge, because now I don't feel so bad about that play anymore, right? It's next play mentality, and a veteran quarterback usually takes that with him.
Yeah, and you know what? I feel like we really saw that with Adonai Mitchell, especially last week. Just his entire kind of confidence, his aura on the field. It felt like two completely different players from week to week. Okay, so in each of your guys' opinions, what is the next step you want to see from this offense to really start? Because, of course, they've been on the upward tick, but what's that next jump you want to see from them, EA?
I want them to start a little bit faster, because we've been seeing them in the wins. The Jets have, of course, won 3 of their past 5 games where they played really well in the fourth quarter. You had that dramatic finish in Cincinnati. Then in Cleveland, they here against the Browns, they took advantage of a couple plays, and they had a 10-point fourth quarter run. Against Atlanta, the Jets scored 10 points in the final 2 minutes for only the third time in franchise history, and the first time actually ever at home. But I'd like for them to step their foot on the gas right out of the gate against Miami. Yes, the Dolphins have won 3 in a row and 4 out of 5, and they're playing improved defensive football. But I want to see them get this crowd involved from the start, Vinny.
Yeah, I think it's important to start fast, like you said, Eric, because it gets the crowd into it, and the players get hyped up about that. And when that happens, good things continue to happen. And I'd like to see them continue to start fast and to score some more points than they've been doing, and not always putting that pressure on the defense all the time. Our defense has played pretty consistent. I think the whole team is getting better, and I think that's a good sign going forward. It certainly shows me that they're playing for their head coach. They're playing hard. They're playing for each other, and that's important moving forward in Aaron Glenn's early tenure as the head coach of the New York Jets.
Most definitely. Q.
I mean, I'm just going to keep it. I think, really, honestly, they just need to be consistent, right?
Yeah.
If you think about the end of the game, they had 2 penalties that pushed them back. Thankfully, you got Nick Folk at kicker, man, because otherwise that could have gotten ugly, right? So I think ultimately it's about being consistent from the first to the end. You start fast in the first half, you got to start fast in the second half, and you got to finish strong as well.
Vinny, what have you thought of AG? He's your former teammate. He took over a team that obviously in transition started 0-7, but we're seeing the build take place right now.
Yeah, well, I'm liking what I'm seeing. Obviously, I'm not around the players or the coaches or around that facility to see what's happening day to day. But as I mentioned a minute ago, the players are playing hard, and that's a reflection of the head coach and the coaching staff. Yeah. I think they really like playing for him, and that's a good sign, in my opinion, as a former player.
I know we always come back to comparing this team and Aaron Glenn to Dan Campbell when he joined the Lions, and I think people forget sometimes that Lions team in Dan Campbell's first year, it took some time to get some wins for them. I think they finished the season only with 3 wins. So I think people maybe are expecting the greatness right away, but you can see it. I really do agree that the players are playing their butts off, and they're completely locked in a way where even though they know that they're not playoffs maybe are a little bit out of the question, but hey, never say never because they're not out yet. But that they're really still playing their butts off for that, just kind of that pride and for their coach.
Yeah, I think there's a couple of components to this. One is that the players have to trust and believe in their head coach, and I think they do. Yeah. For Aaron Glenn as the head coach, he has to get the right players in to fit his system, so to speak, right? So once that happens, I think you'll start to see the evolution of what you talked about, what Dan Campbell went through.
Yes.
I think Aaron's a lot like Dan. In that he can be very fiery, and he can get his guys motivated as well. I had the opportunity to play with Dan Campbell in Dallas. He was a tight end. I was the quarterback there in 2004, I believe. I'm dating myself here.
I was going to say, don't put a number to it. It's okay.
Anyway, so I liked Dan as a not only a player but just a good person. And same with Aaron Glenn. Back during our playing days together, we played a lot of golf in the off season. And so I got to know Aaron pretty good, and I always consider him a good friend. But as always, I'm always rooting for Aaron to have the most success here in New York.
Did he talk smack on the golf course?
Well, he tried to, but he wasn't good enough to.
I was going to ask you who is the better golfer, but I think you just answered it there. Okay, last thing I want to cover before we shift gears. The offense, it would be remiss if we did not talk about Breece Hall and just how much a factor he has been for this Jets offense. What do you want to see from him today, and how do you want to see him be utilized? Because I know, Q, you've talked about it differently each week. You're really stressing just get him the ball.
Right. Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I've said it multiple times. I mean, listen, man, you watch all around the league, you see all these guys getting the ball in different ways, and I'm sure Breece feels the same way. He wants to win, but he also wants to do things in different ways. Even Devon Achane lines up out wide, right? They do different things to get him the ball. I think Breece would love that. We saw last year he caught that pass, I think it was in Tennessee, that fade ball against a linebacker, right? Not many running backs can do that in the NFL. Like, give him that opportunity, man. Let's just get him the ball as many times as possible.
Vinny, what have you thought of Breece so far this season?
Yeah.
This is the best year of his career.
Yeah, I honestly, I think he's been the glue for the offense. He's been keeping it together when, he had some changes at quarterback, some inconsistencies in different areas, but he's been the guy that has really helped them stay together and the guy that you can count on, be consistent, and, when things aren't going well, just like Quincy said, just give him the ball and give it to him as often as you can.
And as much as possible, yeah.
Yeah, I will say it's been interesting the last couple of weeks because without Justin Fields there, maybe some less RPOs and design runs from the quarterback position, and teams are definitely zeroing in on Breece Hall because they know the Jets are going to try to get him the football.
Yeah. Yes, most definitely. Like, I am sure that the Jets will also be zeroing in on Devon Achane. Quincy, I'm going to back you up with your love for Breece Hall. The Jets are 3-0 when Hall has a scrimmage touchdown compared to 0-9 when he does not. So get Breece Hall the ball.
Feed the beast.
Feed the beast. Okay, thank you, Vinny, so much. We appreciate you as always. Thank you for bringing the sunshine with you as well. It's always appreciated. And everyone watching at home, make sure you stay tuned later in the show because the Hellmann's Field Goal Kick Challenge will be coming up. You don't want to miss that. But also, don't forget, there's still one more home game to come this year. Come on out to MetLife Stadium on Sunday, December 28th at 1 p.m. to see the New York Jets host the New England Patriots, another AFC East rematch presented by Ticketmaster. Get your seats now at nyjets.com/tickets. That's nyjets.com/tickets. That's going to be a good game. I feel like the Patriots are playing very well. And as we have just said, the Jets are only continuing to get better and better. So that's going to be a good one. Come on out after Christmas, a little treat for the family. All right, now my pleasure to welcome in Marty Lyons. Look at you in the Rivalries uniform. Yes. Oh, my gosh.
And
it's a thing of beauty. Yeah.
Caroline, ready to go. It's Legend Weekend. You're playing the Miami Dolphins. It's a beautiful day here at MetLife.
Beautiful.
Hopefully the fans get behind the team, take that energy from the alumni coming back, and time to a little bit of a payback to the Dolphins.
Yeah, right. Marty, I didn't think that you could look any more handsome, but you just proved me wrong. In that jersey.
Get my wallet back. You got my wallet. Stop it.
All right, let's talk about this Jets defense. What did you guys like out of them against the Falcons last week? Because obviously they maybe weren't as stout in the run game, but what did you like from just kind of the effort standpoint, EA?
I would say what I was really encouraged about was the finishing kick, because the Jets did have some struggles defending a very good offense. When you're talking about Bijan Robinson, Kyle Pitts got his numbers as well. But when it was crunch time, when they had to get off the field in the fourth quarter, Quincy, they found a way.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, one thing about this defense is they're really a second-half defense. Coach Glenn doesn't really do too much blitzing in the first half, but once that second half comes, they are the leading blitzing team in the fourth quarter, right? So that's what keeps this team in the game. You see so many times that the offense is able to get on the field and start to do some things. It's because they're putting pressure on that opposing offense, and so now you're getting them off the field, you're making bad decisions, and it's just about them just continuing to do that and finding ways to keep that pressure in the first half as well.
I like that they finished.
Yeah.
That's it. They finished. You know, it was back and forth, and they played as a unit, and everything that we've heard the entire year with AG, preaching it. You kind of feel like it's getting there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they've won 3 out of the last 5 games. They got 5 games left. Forget about the first 7. Forget about the playoffs. You're building for the 2026 season. And this roster is going to be turned over a couple times. But they're getting the personnel in here that they want. They're playing the style of football that they need to play. And, again, you go against the Dolphins. They should have beat them down there in South Beach. You fumbled. You had all those penalties.
Right.
But, you know, now it's time to go out there and have fun, because you're going to get evaluated not just by the Jets organization, there's 31 other organizations.
Yep. Yeah. And you know what? That's such a good point, because I feel like the team that we saw for the first half of the season is such a different team from this team that we're looking at in the second half of the season, because the penalties, sure, there's a couple games here and there where maybe those penalties numbers rise again, but from the beginning of the season compared to now, those numbers are way, way down. They're playing way more focused football, in my opinion. So the run game, or the run defense, I should say, how do they get back to the level of play that they were defending against the Ravens and the Patriots?
You got to really be good with your angles today. Yeah. And, you know, you can't let Achane have space, because Achane, much like Bijan Robinson, he's a threat to go the distance anytime he touches the ball. But you need 11 to the ball. With that being said, you got to stay in your gaps. You cannot try to be a hero. You all 11 have to be on the same page against Achane, because for years we talked about this Miami offense and said, well, it runs through the passing game. No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
This is a new version of the Miami Dolphins.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they do. It's still the same eye candy, though. They do a lot of motioning shifts, right? So there's a lot of things going on. But the biggest thing with Achane is he likes to get outside the tackles. Where it was Bijan, he was inside. They like to get him outside, use his speed, get on the edge, right? So you've got to make sure that you're keeping focus on that, right? Getting those guys. Thankfully, the Jets have some quick linebackers, right? Guys that can move sideline to sideline. But you got to make sure you're keeping your lanes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the big thing is take care of the guy in front of you.
Yeah.
Be disciplined. Beat the guy in front of you. You can see the play develop. That offensive lineman, he can't see it. He knows where the ball is supposed to go. So there's a little bit of an advantage. If you get in there and you get that separation, you can move them right down the line. I think it's important, too, for the edge rushers.
Yeah.
Not to go in too soon, because Tua will get outside the pocket.
Yeah, and Tua is 6-0 as a starter against the Jets, so the Jets are hoping to spoil that streak today, as well as their 3-game win streak. But also, Tua, how do they make him throw the ball more? Because he has 14 interceptions this year. That's tied for the most in the league. So how do you kind of force that and not let the run game kind of get out of control?
You got to get your hands up when you're rushing him, because he's not the biggest guy. He's 6'1". Sometimes he'll throw the ball blindly. You talked about the interceptions. You got to capitalize on those opportunities. And again, offensively, you could really give a jolt to the defense by getting a lead, because then you're going to force Miami to get away from their traditional runs with Achane.
Yeah, I mean, he throws the ball behind the line of scrimmage a lot, but the biggest thing with Tua is that with all the things going on, he's still one of the fastest throwers of the ball in terms of getting the ball out. So you just got to be in your lanes at that time, right? Make it confusing for him. One thing I like about this defense is that they do some misdirection, a lot of confusing for the offense. So if you can do that, then he can't get the ball out as quick. He's thrown a lot of interceptions, and some of them were over the middle of the ball. That's where a lot of stuff happens.
I think the biggest thing is you got to make them one-dimensional.
Yeah.
Shut down the run, force them to throw, get them in third and long.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is this the day that the Jets get their interception?
Ooh,
It's no better day than today.
Yeah, I mean that's a great point. And also, not for nothing, Tua has had fewer than 175 passing yards the last 2 games and 0 passing touchdowns. So that's, again, make them one-dimensional. That's going to be the big key. Okay, obviously, no Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, and Darren Waller. How do you kind of make sure that if Tua is throwing them the ball, that they don't get kind of out of control either? Because the Jets, again, are without Jarvis Brownlee and without Marcelino McCrary-Ball because those 2 went on IR yesterday. So how do you kind of make sure that those 2 are held, in control?
Well, it's a great point about Waller because I believe he had 2 touchdowns that first meeting down in Miami and South Florida. And you're talking about another outstanding point. No Brownlee today, so Isaiah Oliver's been playing the big nickel for you. Jordan Clark, the rookie, he's on the active roster out of Notre Dame, so he could see some snaps at the nickel position. You also elevated, Trey Brown and Nick Needham, a former Dolphin, yesterday. So, listen, you have to this offense runs through 17 to 28. As you talked to Malachi Moore in the locker room about this, Caroline, it's Achane, Waddle. Everything else will take care of itself. You have to contain those 2.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly the point, right? I think Waddle is going to find a way to get open, right? They do a good job of finding ways to get open, but he doesn't have Tyreek Hill on the other side to kind of pull some leverage. So now it's just him. Waller does a good job getting up the seams, right? So it's just about making sure, again, right, we just got to play sound defense. Honestly, that's going to be the biggest point for them.
Yeah, and I think you got to understand they are going to get their catches. They are going to get their touches.
Right.
They are going to be targeted. Yeah. Just don't allow the big play.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, it's those explosive plays that the Jets really need to make sure are non-existent today.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to our Fathead prediction game. So each of you have a player's Fathead next to you, and you're going to tell me why they're going to have a good game, and maybe a little stat prediction if you're feeling fancy. EA, you're going to go first.
I'm going Mason Taylor, the rookie out of LSU. He grew up in Miami. His dad, of course, played for both sides of the rivalry with the Dolphins and the Jets. I will give a stat here to you as far as the Dolphins defending tight ends. Opposing tight ends, 75 receptions, 6th most in the NFL, 801 yards, 6th most in the NFL, and 7 touchdowns, tied for 3rd most. This is a big day for Mason Taylor.
Ooh, that was a good one. Q?
All right. Here I got my guy, Jamie in Sherwood, right here, man. Listen, this is the reason why I have his Fathead today. Because he's going to have to stop Devon Achane getting around the field. But another thing about him is that we want to see an interception today, right? This guy's going to be man in the middle. He's going up against Jordan Brooks, who is the leading tackler in the NFL. He's got to prove his worth. He's going to show that he's the best tackler in the AFC East. So this guy's going to have a big day today.
All right, the guy I'm going to flip over has been with the Jets for a long time. Mm-hmm. I've known him for a long time. Mm-hmm. And this guy is key to any time the Jets play. This guy, I love him to death, man. He's been there. He's been there ever since. I've been here 46 years. EA, you are the man. We are so proud of you. I love you. And you know what? Gotham City, you're the man today.
Oh, my God. I don't know what to say.
That is so sweet. And you know what? Hey, if EA is the key to Jets wins, EA, come on, man. What have you been doing? We need you.
Hey, I will say, Marty.
Put him on the field.
Marty, that was beautiful. Listen, if the Jets do win today, it will be their 3rd consecutive home win for the first time since 2019. So there you go.
And then we're going to officially dub EA as the good luck charm. That's how it works. Sorry, I don't make the rules.
You'll have another Fathead next week.
Yes, a new facial expression.
Yes.
We'll have to explore. All right, Marty, thank you so much. As always, you are the greatest.
Oh, my pleasure.
Everyone at home, make sure you are watching because it is time for the Hellmann's Mayonnaise Field Goal Kick Challenge. Rob Monty, take it away.
Thanks, Caroline. It's a beautiful day out here at the Jets tailgate zone, and our party's rocking with USVI. We're here at the Hellmann's Field Goal Challenge, and we got our last contestant of the season, Bobby Moore. Bobby, where are you from?
From Brick, New Jersey.
Brick, New Jersey. You ready for today's challenge?
Ready as I'll ever be.
How long have you been a Jets fan?
All my life.
Your whole What brought you to the tailgate zone today?
Honestly, I saw some palm trees over here, so it looked pretty good, you know?
Well, it's beautiful, balmy weather. You feeling confident about this?
Yes, sir.
All right, you know, if you make this, December 28th, you'll be inside the stadium for a chance to win $100,000. Psyched up, ready to go? All right, Caroline, let's see if we can do this. Go, Bobby. Yeah! Oh, yes! Bobby's going to MetLife Stadium, the Hellmann Field Goal Challenge for $100,000. You feeling good?
Yes, sir.
Let's go. We'll see you inside the stadium December 28th. Back to you, Caroline.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh, that was amazing. I don't know what I liked more, this incredible kick by Bobby or the chest bump with Rob afterwards. I think that might be my favorite part. That was incredible. Nice kick. Okay. And we also have, of course, the Hellmann's Buffalo Chicken Dip here with us on set as per usual. Okay. So before we wrap up this show, we got to talk about special teams.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because special teams has been playing out of their minds lately. EA, who on special teams, I know it's very hard to narrow it down to one, but who has stood out to you the most?
The special teams unit is the best in the National Football League through 12 games. Let's give some props to Isaiah Williams.
Yep.
I mean, that first game against Miami down there, Monday Night Football, he fumbled on a kickoff return, and then Miami scored. He also had a fair catch inside his own 5-yard line late there in the fourth quarter. And he put his head down. He bounced back, and he's been magnificent for this team. So shout out to Isaiah Williams.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a really good one. I think another one would be Kene Nwangu, but who I'm going to go with is Quantez Stiggins.
Yeah!
We had him on the post-game show, man, and he's talking about getting to the Pro Bowl, and I want to root for him to make it there. I'll play Gunner, man. Gunner is probably one of the hardest positions in the NFL.
Yeah.
Hands down, man. You got to go out there and battle from snap to finish. There's two guys in front of you, another guy that's trying to hit you down the field, and you got to run your fastest. But I love it because it really shows your athleticism. It's one of the purest football positions in the game, and he's doing a great job at it.
It's athleticism, but then it's also just like sheer willpower and hard work, and that is Quantez. When you think of it and his story and everything he's been through, that is him to a T. So I think it's the perfect position. Q, what do you think it is about Chris Banjo and the special teams coordinator that he is, why he has produced such a successful unit?
Everybody talks about how he's a former player, but I don't think it's just that, right? It's that he literally just got done playing, like 5 years ago, right?
Yeah.
So it's also still in him to know what these guys need, right? Like it's a little bit of a different dynamic than maybe Aaron Glenn, right? Where you're watching his film and it's a little grainy, right? With Banjo,
We're giving AG that clip.
It's all love, but like with Banjo, it looks the same. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you feel everything from him. He comes in with a different attitude, and these guys are really soaking it up and really playing hard for him.
Yeah, and applaud Kevin O'Day as well, because that's assistant there on special teams. But throughout, the units have just been the best in the league. And if you get that going forward, the Jets are really going to be something.
Yeah, and Austin McNamara being named the AFC Special Teams Player of the Month. So well deserved. And of course, Nick Folk. I mean, we can't get enough of him. He's been nearly perfect this entire season. I will say that I'm not blaming Bob Wischusen, but I will say he was saying, Nick Folk has been perfect all season long. And then he did miss the following kick. So I'm not saying it's Bob's fault, but I am saying that potentially he gave him the announcer.
A lot of people catching strays here on Pregame Central.
You got to be careful. You got to be careful. All right. It is now time in the show where it is both of yours time to make your case. EA, I'm going to have you go first.
The
if you don't mind.
The interception drought ends today. You mentioned 14 interceptions tied for the NFL high. I think the Jets, you got tips and overthrows, got to get those. Get your arms up at the line of scrimmage because you're going to try to get rid of that ball. And also, like Q was talking about, some of those balls over the middle, Jets have to own. Now, you're dealing with a lot of things in the secondary, shuffle per se. But with that being said, the drought ends today.
Love it. Okay. Q, how about you?
I think that today the Jets receivers are going to have more receiving touchdowns than Miami's. I think there's going to be another game where Breece Hall is going to be keyed on. They're going to try to stop him, and that's great for a play-action pass, right? We've got to see AD get down the field and score that touchdown. I think it's another week where that's a possibility for these Jets receivers.
Most definitely. All right. Tomorrow's headlines, EA.
Jets claim first AFC East win as sink the Dolphins. This is going to happen today. The Jets, Aaron Glenn, set the tone, I thought, early this week by saying, we owe Miami one, and that's the way these guys feel in the locker room. Listen, the Dolphins are playing well. They've won 3 in a row. All those games, albeit, were at home. They're going to MetLife Stadium. Jets 0-3 in the AFC East. 3 of their final 5 games against division teams. You got to win inside the division. I think it happens today.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this week I'm going with Glenn uses Dolphins to continue turning the tide, right? So the Jets have continued to move in a different direction. We talked about in the beginning of the game. This second half of the season looks completely different from the first half. That first game against Miami, it's not going to happen again today. They're going to continue moving in the direction that they are, and it's going to be a win for them.
I'm convinced in another life you were a poet, Quincy.
Oh, no, I wasn't a poet. I was a rapper.
Even better, even better. All right, final thoughts before we get to inactive players. EA, you go first.
Well, there's 113 Jets legends here this weekend, and I'd like to applaud everybody who's come out and worn the green and white throughout our history. And this is always a special weekend. And we're also going to honor that 25th anniversary team of the Monday Night Miracle that Vinny Testaverde and the boys took care of the Dolphins in overtime 40-37. So this is an outstanding organization, and I'd like to, say hello and also thank you to all the legends here this weekend and all those who weren't able to attend.
Yeah, I mean, you said a lot here, and I think that's exactly how I feel as well. Being a guy that's going to be on the field, it's amazing to see a lot of these former players. I'm going to give a little credit to the grounds crew, though, man. Can we show the field again?
Yes.
That is amazing.
Absolutely.
I mean, I've never seen a football field like that. I don't even think Madden set it up the way it's supposed to be. Like this, I like looking at
the end zone is crazy.
Yeah, so, man, shout out to those guys. Shout out to everybody else here that's showing up for the game. I think it's going to be an amazing game to see all the former guys.
So what would your touchdown celebration be in the end zone?
I don't know. You might not even want to touch the end zone. You might just put the ball over the line, and then that's it.
Yeah, not mess up the pace.
What I mean?
It's too beautiful.
Yeah.
We can't do it. I appreciate all of you at home watching. Thank you so much for tuning in to Pregame Central. Here is your inactives list for today's game. That's Justin Fields, Tyler Johnson, Tony Adams, Jasir Taylor, Braden McGregor, Mozzie Smith, and Jelani Woods. You will not see those guys out on the field today. Thank you, everybody, so much for watching Pregame Central, presented by USVI. That's all from us here at the desk. We're going to go inside the bowl, and we will see you on Jets Overtime after the game.